Pause, I made a mistake. It's in the wrong lung direction. Today, I'll explore the behind the scenes of Floaty, a French invention you may have seen on television. It's a t-shirt designed to prevent young children from drowning. So I suggest you discover how they came up with the idea, what their manufacturing secrets are, how it works, and most importantly, if it's really effective during a real-life demonstration. I'm raising the desk so we can unbox the anti-drowning t-shirt together. The product is here. Let's open it. Ah, great. That's a good start. Always running into trouble. Me? Ah, well, there you go. Like that, it's easier. Okay, so inside we have a little thank you card, a charging box, the manual, and of course, the t-shirt itself. Okay, well, it's heavier than I thought. I should weigh it, but you can definitely feel there's something inside. Here's what it looks like when it's unfolded. As you can see, it looks like a regular ultraviolet protection t-shirt that you might put on kids at the beach, by the pool, or during vacation. This one is unique because it has a built-in safety system for when a child wearing it enters the water, intentionally or not. This shirt will inflate to bring the child back to the surface, and it will also turn them over so their airways are clear and they can breathe out of the water. This doesn't replace parental supervision, but as you know, even a moment of inattention can lead to accidents. Drowning is a leading cause of death for children. That's why this t-shirt was created by two French engineers, including Philippe, who unfortunately witnessed a drowning himself. So, let me show you what it looks like. Inside, we have a small Velcro right here, and as you can see, there are two layers, the t-shirt itself and the layer behind it. We have the famous inflatable lung, featuring the well-known mechanism that inflates it when it contacts water. You'll see it in action and in real conditions later in the video, but for now, I suggest we try it in a sink to see what happens when the whole thing comes into contact with water. Sorry about the noise, there's a machine nearby. Let's see if it inflates. I'm putting it in the sink now. Okay, see? Now we just have to see if it works. Ah, well, no, nothing's happening. Okay, that's strange. Yet, as you can see, it's really soaked. Let's try directly with the faucet. Maybe it's because it needs to be completely submerged. Oh wow, even the camera is freaking out. I really wasn't expecting that. Yeah, well, it's effective, right? The good news is that you really need a certain amount of water for it to go off. Which means that kids can wear this around the pool and play. Getting a few drops on it isn't a problem, and you won't, quote unquote, waste a refill. Just keep in mind that this isn't an alternative to those well-known floaties. It's not something you should put on kids for them to go into the water. When we're with them, the t-shirt is there to protect them, especially when they're not supposed to go in the water. Anyway, now I'd like to invite you to join me in Toulouse to discover the behind the scenes of the company behind this.
Hello, welcome to Floaty. Not from here. There, maybe. Yeah, they are. Oh, there you go. Oh, well, it's Thibaut.
Yes, nice to meet you.
That's one of the two consumers. And in the back is Philippe, the second one.
He hid because he doesn't want to see me. The whole place is divided into two parts. On one side are the offices, and on the other, the area where they assemble and ship the t-shirts.
So, the t-shirt is made in France, and specifically it's assembled in Occitanie, in Toulouse, in our facility, right here.
I didn't film this first step, which involves making the inflatable lung and the t-shirt since it's done by subcontractors. And also because I've already made a full video about making a piece of clothing, especially a striped shirt, in the past. If you haven't seen it, I invite you to check the description. Who designed the patterns? Because it's half striped shirt, half color.
So the design, that's a pretty interesting story. Basically, we wanted to make the shirts entirely striped at first, except that we actually discovered that our shirts needed to be visible in the water. Since it's a safety product to save a child's life, if the child falls into the water, they really need to be visible in the water. So anything that was blue and white was prohibited. Not great luck when you want to make a striped shirt. So we had to find a solution because we didn't want to throw away all those striped fabrics we had already ordered. So we found a solution to reuse those striped fabrics by making the lower part striped and the upper part with a brighter color.
After the elements are made, they're sent to Floaty for assembly, as a few steps remain.
So, to start, Lily will attach the snap buttons to the inflatable part. These snap buttons are used to connect the inflatable part to the t-shirt, so the snap button. It's made of 2 parts, and we're going to use the press to attach it to the lung.
As you can see, this part isn't automated, and they still have to do it quote-unquote by hand. Honestly, the machine is kind of satisfying, so I volunteered to make a few to see if it was difficult or not. So, I take a claw, put it in place in the center, then I take the other part and insert it into the dock. There was a small click, so it stays in place now. I take the lung, and if I understood, I just press the pedal. Yeah, but do a quick, sharp press, otherwise...
It will go into safety mode.
Okay, we'll try to avoid mistakes.
Great, very nice move.
I'm doing the second one anyway. We don't do things halfway. It's not too complicated, but you need to stay focused to avoid mistakes. Especially since the product is meant to save lives, so it's not something to take lightly.
Put it down, put it down.
Put it down, I made a mistake.
It's facing the wrong way in the lung.
Ah, okay, indeed. There you go.
Can I control it?
Yeah, I think it got a little off. No.
No, it's very good. It's fine.
So what's the next step?
So the next step will be to assemble the trigger components and put it on the lungs. So on these triggers, we're going to install the carbon dioxide 2 bottle, which is actually used to inflate the lung.
They use carbon dioxide, 2, which is also found in carbonated drinks and soda streams. Since it has the advantage of being easily compressible and it won't explode even if there's a problem. Obviously, once again, they played it safe.
Why not? Helium actually carbon dioxide. 2, it has the advantage of being a completely inert gas, meaning it's not a flammable gas. There is no danger to health. So my triggers are ready. We can bring them to the final step, which is assembling them onto the lung. When you buy the product, it's ready to use. What does ready to use mean? It means it's fully equipped. If your child goes into the water, it will trigger automatically. How does it work? There's a soluble tablet that detects water. It will release a spring that will raise a needle, which will open the carbon dioxide to capsule, which will then discharge itself into the inflatable lung. Once the lung is inflated, it immediately brings the child back to the surface. If the child is in a bad position, like head down, the lungs' asymmetry will turn them over due to Archimedes' principle. Thank you.
So, indeed, here we have a single-use device, but honestly, I don't see how they could have done it differently. And if it ever gets triggered, it means an accident has been avoided.
So here actually we're simply going to assemble the trigger onto the inflatable lung to make it ready for use. The click means it's tight, just as it should be.
And is it certified? This device?
So all the materials, all the components, as well as the product as a whole are certified. It's the same level of certification as for a life jacket, which is International Organization for Standardization 12402.
That's an important point because we see a lot of innovations on the internet, but they don't always have the certifications. They haven't necessarily passed any official tests. They, of course, have taken all the necessary steps to prove the effectiveness of their products, especially since, once again, and I want to emphasize this, we're talking about a safety device. So,
with that done, all that's left is to attach the lung to the t-shirt. If you want, you can take one, and that way we can do it at the same time, side by side.
Okay, I want to see if it's really easy to replace, so what should I do? So here I have the lung.
You've already opened the compartment, that's great. Now take the trigger side of the lung.
All right, like this?
You hold it well in your right hand since you're right-handed.
I'm left-handed, Setting it up simply involves slipping the inflatable lung into a kind of lining inside the t-shirt. But of course, the important thing is to position it correctly so that it works at the right moment. Let me reassure you right away, no one will have this t-shirt made by me. There you go.
Remove your hand. Perfect. Now do the same on the other side. Great. He's almost faster than me now.
There's the little sound and now I'm good. Now I guess I'll have to turn it over exactly. There you go, to put the rest of the lung into kernel. This step took me about 3 minutes, and you don't need to do it every time, except obviously when you wash the t-shirt, since you don't want it to go off in the machine.
You're just as good as me.
He's lying, but it's not a big deal. The t-shirts are then stored and sorted according to their color and size. And when there are orders, they are of course packed in boxes and then sent directly to the customers.
We made our first sales in November 2022 as part of a crowdfunding campaign we did on Ulule. And that really allowed us to get started to see that there was real interest in the product. After that, we were on television in January, and that's when sales really took off immediately. So after that, we were overwhelmed for several months.
It's thanks to the show Qui va être mon associé on M6 that I discovered them, and that's what led me to make this video. Today, I've already tried quite a few products from the show, but this one was a bit special and it couldn't be tested by an adult. I decided to explore the company's behind the scenes instead and hope you enjoy it. Now, we just have to see the product in action tomorrow. Okay, so today, I'm in the countryside near Toulouse because the Floaty team has booked a pool and invited some kids to test the product. This will allow them to make promotional clips and photos for their network. So of course, I'll be filming the behind the scenes for you. And at the same time, it will give us a chance to see the product in action. It's really nice here and you can see the Pyrenees in the distance. Here's the pool where they'll do demonstrations. It's a small team, so it doesn't look like a Hollywood production. Everyone helps out, including the boss. The kids already knew about the product, so no explanation was needed, and they were just there to have fun. So it was really a 2-in-1 afternoon, both professional and relaxing.
Once you get into the water, you just let yourself go. It'll get you back on track.
To prove it gets you back on track.
The difficulty was that we had to stage children accidentally falling into the water. Obviously, it couldn't look fake. 10,000 kilometers away, it wasn't easy since we had to do it several times, but surprisingly, they were the ones who came up with the most believable ideas. At the same time, they're the ones most affected. After each activation, the children would get out of the water and we would remove the special lung to replace the trigger.
Specifically, how do we know that the anti-drowning t-shirt has been activated and that we need to replace the soluble detector and the cartridge? Here you can clearly see that before, when the t-shirt came out of the workshop, or if you just recharged it, the soluble detector has this little green tip, If the tablet melts and triggers from the cartridge, it falls off and appears red. If it's red, you know it has been triggered and you need to proceed with what we call changing the refill.
Between takes, there was a break for the children to have fun and dry off, since they need to look dry before entering the water, which we don't always consider. There were multiple takes with different equipment each time, whether it was a digital single lens reflex, a GoPro, or even a drone. The aim was to supply content for Floaty's social media during the next season.
The drone isn't very pleasant when it comes towards you.
When it comes to the t-shirt itself, as you can see, it was triggered every time. But that's not surprising since it was designed to save lives. And obviously, they can't afford to make mistakes. I would have liked to have one. No, not to keep me from drowning, since I'm trying to swim, but for the ultraviolet protection, because that day, I still got a bit of a sunburn. My fault. Remember to wear sunscreen. For now, you only have one product, well, with some variations of course, but are there any other innovations in the works?
Right. Our first product is the children's anti-drowning t-shirt. Obviously, children are not the only group of people who are greatly affected by drowning. So right now, we're already working on a second product aimed at another group of people who are greatly affected by drowning. I won't say more since we haven't patented this product yet and don't want it copied before release.
That's all for today. If you like this new format, let us know in the comments. Goodbye. All right, like this.
You have it under control, right hand, since you're right-handed.
I'm left-handed, huh?